Hey guys, this is we're standing outside of a large manor, and this is something like Troll Skull Manor. This is an asset that's available right now through my Patreon with the latest release of the city. But you're looking at this dilapidated old manor. It used to be a tavern, maybe it used to be a house before that, and it's all busted up. And as the lore would have it, your players can go in. There's a ghost that haunts it. They can eventually take it over, maybe clear it out, but then they can turn it into a base. And so this is a dynamically transforming map, a three-dimensional map that transforms dynamically based on what you where you are in your story. And in this case, this manor is now cleaned up and it's now ready to be upgraded. You can upgrade it floor by floor or even room by room, or we can upgrade it immediately to a fully functioning tavern that can then be transformed into a base or a stronghold, for example. And so all of these things are being powered by Monk's active tiles and also a little bit of multi-phase tiles, but you can see now my players can come in and they can really essentially choose what they want these different rooms to be and look like. So you have all these base sets, but then you have the ability to mix and match as well. You've got dojos and clerics' temples and other things that you can add to it depending on what your party makeup is like and what they want to do with the space. So we're going to walk through today how to do this. I'm even going to show you how to make, like all these static smoke chimneys turn to animated smoke chimneys. We're going to show you how that control works. And really essentially how you do this. I mean, this is even changing walls and lighting inside of here. And it's using all of these different pieces to actually make this single, 6-story stronghold. So with that, let's jump into the tutorial.
So the manor itself is actually a prefab, and we can drag it out and split it apart and see all the components of it. Notice I don't have my levels UI turned on. That's important because levels will smash it into one level, and we want this to be multiple levels. So if I want to manipulate the components, I can either turn on quick edit mode for token attacher, or I can detach everything. So I'll just do that for this demo. Hit the garbage can. That will release all of the attachments that are attached to that component here. You notice all of my controls also have their own attachments, so I'm going to release those. Now I can interact with everything without too much difficulty. If I look at how I set these up, you'll notice my background tile, which is this entire floor. I've coded that as manor level 1 and then manor base. The level 1 is so I can manipulate just this level. The level base is in case I want to do other things, which I haven't used in this particular deployment. This is otherwise it's a normal overhead tile, and there's nothing active with it in terms of an active tile. I did, however, if you right click it, you can see I used multi-phase tiles to be able to quickly swap between alternative versions of it. You also notice I did that for some of these bonus rooms and bonus components. In this case, I can swap between the table or the stage, or I can swap with a transparent tile. Swapping with the transparent tile will just show through the base that you're working with. This lets you start with a base, like an empty base, for example, and then add rooms as you go. And the same thing for the rest of these. Each of these rooms, I call Alt-Room using Tagger. And again, nothing is active. What that lets me do is reset all of the rooms. So if I go to the Reset Rooms lever, I say alter anything that's tagged Alt-Room and set the image to transparent. So I essentially reset all of those images to transparent, and then I send a notification to the GM saying that all custom rooms are reset. That's just to notify me that it's been completed. There's also some walls that won't change, or that will change with the transformation. In this case, I have bar walls because this bar doesn't exist in the empty in certain versions of this, particularly the empty one. So I want these to disappear under certain scenarios. I also want my lights to change. You notice all these lights that are on, these are tagged as warm lights and also tagged as interior lights. These lights that are off, however, if I click it on, you can't tell with the conflicting lighting, but these are cold lights. These are lights that I would put in when there's no fires and torches. I just want to light the space in general. So I call that a cold dash light. If I go up a level, you can see all of my rooms are tagged in the same way and they all function the same way. This is an alt room. The big tile in the middle is called Manor Level 2. So they keep going 3, 4, and 5. And I have this roof here. This roof is Manor Level 1 roof, and then just Manor roof. I use that for this component here. Snowy roofs. I use it for a couple actually. I click open snowy roofs, go to the trigger. What I'm saying is on click by a GM, so only a GM can interact with these controls. I'm going to alter Manor Level 1, or Manor Level 1 roof. I'm going to set the image to my roof version 4. That's my snowy roof. And I'm going to do the same thing for Manor Level 2 roof, and so on and so forth until I get to the end. And then I'm going to alter the color to be a neutral tint. It'll be a neutral white tint. And then I'm going to send a notification when it's done. So let's see what happens when I click that. I go up, you can see that all my roofs have changed to the snowy version of them. Now let's look at how I manipulated all these pieces for these. So if I want it to be an empty version of the manor, I set these anchors not as a functional anchor, just to create a category so I can go back and make changes if I want to. But I'm going to alter all of the main levels, Manor Level 1, and I'm going to use the empty version of that level, and I'm going to do that for all the other levels. Then I'm going to wait 2 seconds because I'm requiring a lot of processing, and then I'm going to affect the lighting. I'm going to deactivate the warm light because this is an empty building, and I'm going to activate the cold light. Then I'm going to address the roofs. I'm going to alter the manor roof. I'm going to actually set a tint to this hex code. I'm going to wait for 2 seconds. And then I'm going to actually alter all of the tiles for the roofs to the version 1 of each roof. That's the highest class, the nicest looking roof, right? So this building is now clear and the roof has been upgraded and it's ready to go. And I think it gets colored blue. Then I'm going to address the walls. I'm going to look at the attic walls, which there's a couple that I'm going to change, and I'm going to change those to 0. If I wanted to, I could change a wall to 10. That would be a limited movement or limited visibility, whatever it is. So notice here, in this case, I'm changing the movement feature of the wall, the movement tag, to 0. Oh, if I did movement 10, it would become a terrain wall, and at movement 20, it becomes a normal wall that you can't walk through. So with walls and their movement, it goes 0, 10, and 20. I'm also going to change the height of those top walls to 0 rather than a terrain wall, which would be 10. And then downstairs, I'm going to change the bar walls to set to 0. I don't have to make any other changes because they're already invisible walls. Then I'm going to address the chimneys. I'm going to alter the chimneys to take on a transparent tile because I don't want them to show up yet. They still have the multi-phase tile coating to them, but since, this is an empty house, I don't want the chimneys to show up. And then I'm sending a notification to myself that it's been completed. So now if we engage this, and there's 2 ways to engage it, I can either right click it and hit the engage button, or if I'm at the correct level, I can just select any old token like this control token and I can engage it that way. You can see it's going through and changing all the components, changing all the roof, turned it to blue, and then it changed it back to this shake tile. And then it got rid of my smoke. And if I scan through it, I've got my empty house. All of my rooms are reset, of course. Oh, they're not reset here because I made some changes. If I want to reset them, I can come over here and reset all of my rooms. and that will make it all of them transparent. So it's just looking through to the main component. And all of the other little things that I have here that make this work, they all stay the same. If I drop my player in here, and if I want to go down to the downstairs, it works. I have a elevator here, more of like a dumbwaiter, and I can go up to the 4th floor and it all works. So no matter what version I've got, unless I decide to change it, these interactive components work as well. Here for the ruined version, I'm now looking for all the different levels, the main images, and I'm going to change them to the ruined version of those images. I'm going to look for the manor roof tile, which addresses all of my roofs because they're all the tag manor roof. And I'm going to set the tint to a brown color. I'll wait for 2 seconds. I'm going to look for everything tagged with warm light and deactivate it. Everything tagged with cold light and activate those. And then in my roofs, I'm going to wait 2 seconds and I'm going to change all of their tiles to my roughest shake. It's roof 03. It's right before the 04, which is the snowy tile. Everything gets changed to an 03. I'm going to set my walls to what I want. Notice the bar wall. If this is the ruined version, the bar is going to be there, even though it's ruined. So I'm not going to want players to walk through it. I'll send my notification. This notification should really be at the end here, although it's not a big deal. And then I'm going to change my chimneys to all be transparent again. So the other thing I want to show you is the smoke controls. Notice that these are tagged toggle smoke static and toggle smoke animated. Zephyr actually made these. They were pretty clever here. The way this one works is when you click it, the GM clicks it, it's going to alter this tile to make it green. Then it's going to alter its counterpart to turn that white, basically saying that it's deactivated. You're going to play a sound that's going to give you the signal that you've engaged it. And then it's going to look for anything tagged as chimney smoke, and it's going to trigger it. So anywhere that I've got these tiles, which you can't see here, unless I hovered over it, anywhere, say this is a transparent tile, but this is called chimney smoke, or just manor chimney in this case, in case I want to just change the smoke on the chimney, not the rest of the scene. But chimney smoke is something that's universally recognized by these controls. And when I click into the animated one, it'll do the reverse. It'll play the sound and then it'll look for the chimney smoke and it'll actually set it to a WebM version of it. You'll notice here all of my chimneys are smoking. You might want to use this if you want performance improvements, if your players are struggling with animated objects on the scene. And by clicking to a static version of it, it's obviously going to be a lot less processor intensive. So hopefully you guys like this. This took a lot of time to make. This is available with my Patreon right now if you're interested in picking it up. There's another larger release. You can make whole cities, and we've got prefabs and stuff for the cities. Let me know in the comments if you see a easier, more efficient way to do this, if there's some logic tricks that you think we could employ. But for right now, I'm pretty satisfied with this. I'll be having my players come in and probably clear out the ruined version of it and then take it over. And then I haven't showed you this, but there's a Dungeondraft file with all of these components in it. If you do want to get this and you want to decorate it completely differently than you see and make a room for, your druid and a room for your ranger, you can do that. All of these components are set up to be able to design, and then they cut out really easily in the same dimensions that you just saw. And then you can just import them right into your game and and just switch them out. So you can just use, multi-face tile and just click the little plus button and then pick your new tile out of the lineup, and you can have it be where any room can be customizable like you see here. So that's it. Hopefully you guys like it, and let me know in the comments what you think.